Errol Spence has activated his rematch clause with Terence Crawford, but Spence has also reportedly left his trainer, Derrick James. Brian McIntyre has revealed that Terence will be fighting Spence in the rematch next. Brian stated, "Everything's going good. He just texted me yesterday and said that Spence has activated his rematch." Terence Crawford has been ready for the possible rematch since then as well, and he had no problem following through with the contract.
Are you interested in moving up in weight for the rematch, or does it have to be at 47?
It definitely don't have to be at 47. Like I said, I'm in a hurt business. 47 was kind of hard for me too. I was already talking about moving up in weight and challenging Charlo, so 54 wouldn't be outreach of anything.
According to Terence, he made a crucial game plan decision right before the fight that helped lead him to victory. Terence stated, "I made the change to fight Southpaw in the back dressing room. I was like, how should I come out? I just had that chip on my shoulder to go head on with the bull and just go fight him. I was like, just box. And then I remembered he hadn't fought too many Southpaws before. And then on one of the occasions, he got hurt really badly by a hook. I was like, I'm coming out Southpaw and we're going to box just to start off. But at the same time, I'm going to get my respect out of the gate. I'm not going to be doing all of that moving. The plan was never to move. He ain't no Terminator. I was going to be right there in front of him like I always do. I was going to make him miss and make him pay, and I fought my fight. I feel like that was the key to victory because he wasn't used to fighting Southpaws." Apparently, other pros think that there was another issue that Spence had to deal with. Abel Sanchez stated, "He looked like a different fighter walking into the ring. His eyes looked bad to me. I was at a house with a couple of officers and the comments they made, he looks like he's loaded. His eyes look like he's loaded. He's not all there. And then I saw a picture of him. I'm not saying he was, but he didn't look complete. Then I saw a picture of him a couple of days before the Crawford fight. He had a hat on. He looked like a skeleton to me. His face looked so thin, so gaunt. So in my opinion, he wasn't all there. That wasn't a Spence that I've seen in the past. But I'm not taking anything away from Crawford. Crawford looked like $1 million. According to Terence's trainer, Brian McIntyre, Errol's weight issues rest solely on his trainer. Brian stated, "I would say that is an excuse. Again, he had to weigh in the same weight as Bud. He knew about the fight months before, so, if he was weight drained, that's just bad coaching on Derrick James' part. We all had the right amount of time to prepare for this fight. I'm not looking for any excuses or anything of that nature. Errol had no excuses, everybody else did." Spence has talked about how hard the weight cuts have been for him, and he admits that he's gotten some extra help on the situation. Spence stated, "It's been kind of hard, but I've got a nutritionist and a dietitian to make sure I'm eating the right foods and make sure I'm good. But it's definitely hard. It's definitely a struggle. It's always hard, but yeah, this is the last time, definitely. I'm a lot older. I'm not as young as I used to be, so you can't be putting your body through that much to fight." Malik Scott actually thinks having the rematch at a higher weight would be just as bad for Spence though. Malik stated, "Once they got in the ring, it was a mismatch that I don't want to see again and that I don't think should take place again. I'm not big on Crawford beating on Errol Spence like that again, or worse. I don't want to see that. Errol has a family, he has a good life, and he's made tons of history and tons of money. I just don't want to see him go through that again. That was tough to watch. 154 makes it worse to me, because he's not just going to be coming in bigger and more hydrated. Crawford is as well. He had to make the weight too." Stephen A. Smith really thought that the fighters should have taken a few fights before facing each other again.
A matter of fact, let me make a plea over the international digital airwaves of YouTube. Let me make a plea right now to Terence Crawford. I understand you just beat him. You beat him thoroughly. You're the undisputed welterweight champion of the world, the WBO, the WBA, the WBC, the IBF titles, but you hugged him after the fight for a reason. I am making a plea to Terence Crawford. Even if you elect to give Errol Spence Jr. a rematch, please do not do this for at least a year. Please don't do that. Y'all are cool with one another. I'm begging you, my brother. I'm begging you. Because because I know you got love. And I'm begging Errol Spence Jr., as good as you are, you were just outclassed. I say that respectfully because I got mad respect for Errol Spence Jr. Please, please do not fight Errol Spence Jr.
When Steven heard the news of the immediate rematch, he stated, I need to address something that's very, very important to me. It involves former welterweight champion Errol Spence Jr., who exercised his right to a rematch clause with the reigning undisputed two-division champion that is Terence "Bud" Crawford. I'm not cracking jokes. I'm not laughing. I don't think it's funny. It was just bad. He does not need to get back in the ring with Terence Crawford this year. Me personally, period, but especially this year. He doesn't need to get back in the ring before next summer, but he had a rematch clause he exercised. Manny Pacquiao doesn't think there even needs to be a rematch. Manny stated, I didn't think the fight would end like that. I thought it would finish 12 rounds, but Crawford did well. He did a good job. I don't know if there's a rematch clause, but it was a one-sided fight. He's still in his career, so we'll see. Amir Khan also warned Spence about going for an immediate rematch. Amir stated, in the heat of the moment, you're going to say, yeah, I'll take the rematch straight away. But to be honest with you, I don't think it will do him any good. I think he would get beat even worse than he did today. He might get knocked out quite badly. There was talk that he was having trouble making weight, so maybe he should move up a weight. There's still a lot of big names out there who I think Spence would beat, but I just think Crawford has his style. Paulie Malignaggi isn't too keen on seeing a rematch either. Paulie stated, so in this particular situation, Crawford-Spence, I really have no interest in the rematch. The first fight decided it for me. I don't have any cares in the world for the rematch. I don't want to see it. They'll still make it, and they'll do what they want to do. It's not up to me, but personally, I don't care for that rematch, no. I was told through the grapevine, even before the first fight, that they had done a 2-fight deal, and the second fight was going to be at 154. Derrick James really had confidence in Spence at first, and he was heard stating, he's doing good, he's okay. Things happen, life happens, you never really know. Everyone wants to win all the time. Some days are not your day, and that wasn't his day. I know he'll be victorious in the rematch. Different situation, different weight, just everything. So yeah, I think my guy is a better fighter altogether. Things just happen. Bad day, bad day. Well, it looks as though Errol Spence isn't Derrick James' fighter anymore. And according to sources, Spence is looking at 2 other trainers. Sources stated Errol Spence Jr. and his longtime trainer, Coach Derrick James, reportedly parted ways. Calvin Ford and Roy Jones Jr. have been named as the leading candidates to potentially step in as a replacement for Derrick James in the rematch against Terence Crawford, scheduled for December. According to Brian McIntyre, none of this matters because they don't plan on changing anything. Brian stated, I believe Terence can do better depending on what he's got in front of him. As far as Spence, he's been better. In this fight, he weighed in just the same as Terence did. He had to do the same thing that Terence did. If the rematch does happen, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to prepare the same way. We're not going to cut no corners, and we're not going to take him lightly. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and check out some of our other videos on the screen right now.